Disturbing and shocking. Take a look. The National Enquirer now reporting that former presidential candidate John Edwards is engaged to his one-time mistress, Rielle Hunter. Reportedly popping the question just weeks after his wife Elizabeth died from cancer, or at least that's when the reports have surfaced. Joining me now, our power panel. Conservative columnist and Fox News contributor Andrea Tantaros, comedian Bernadette Pauley, and senior fellow with Project 21 and Fox News contributor Deneen Borelli. All right, panel, so just when you thought you couldn't like him any less, you find this out.
This is ridiculous. When I saw the headline, the first thought was this man is just a dirtbag. He's a liar. He's a cheater. He spent over 30 years married to this woman. And what is Rielle thinking? She needs a reality, because what makes her think she's any different, going to be treated any different than what his previous wife was?
They say you lose him how you get him. That's what they say, right? How you get him.
I heaved a sigh of relief when I saw this, because we all should. This guy isn't in the White House. Imagine if he would have won. Right. Today, the same news that we heard about the engagement, a grand jury says that they're considering indictments. We've got bribery,
well, you know what's interesting?
Corruption.
I had a legal expert email me to say that could be part of it, because if they're married, she can't be compelled to testify against him.
That makes him a dirtbag.
Spousal privilege. Well, yeah, if that's why he's getting married.
But
let me play devil's advocate for John Edwards for a minute, because I was saying to John Sampson, who our viewers know now, you know what? Maybe he's just given up, saying, you know, the American public has turned on me. Nobody loves me. She's the one person who looks at me with stars in her eyes. I don't care. I'm spending my life with her.
No. They're both barracudas, and they deserve each other. And remember when he wasn't dressed up, he would wear those little Mr. Rogers sweaters? Anybody who wears a Mr. Rogers sweater has
don't marry.
Don't marry them. And they're just not a classy couple. Let's leave it at that.
Well,
and I hope that his grown children torture her.
That's the thing. What about his young children? And how does this make them feel? But
I feel bad for them.
You know, it's just a tragedy. Well, the National Enquirer, that's who it comes from. But let's keep in mind, once they reported the same thing a year ago, and it wasn't true. But two, they're the ones who broke all this John Edwards news.
Yeah.
That was true. So take it with a grain of salt. Okay. Sean Collins is a soldier who was killed, and in Afghanistan, and his family received a letter from their Senator Maria Cantwell in Washington, a Democrat from Washington, that said that included the wrong name in the condolence letter. The father was not happy. They complained to Cantwell's office, and then he called the White House and said, could you just call, would you mind calling and just, you know, offering condolences, not even to me, but to my ex-wife, who's really upset over this mistake and the death of our son. And the father says he was told Obama does not regularly make phone calls to the families of the fallen soldiers, and got blown off. And he said, Deneen, that was bad enough, but then when I heard that at around the same time he was calling the Philadelphia Eagles to congratulate them on giving Michael Vick a second choice, I really felt upset.
Yeah, my condolences to this family. I really do feel bad for them. But to his point, Obama, well, first of all, how long does it take to write a little personal note to a family who has lost their child who served on duty? That's number one. Number two, with Obama, to me, this is even a bigger picture of him doing preferential treatment to blacks when they're wrong. Michael Vick, the new Black Panthers who in Philadelphia intimidated voters. I mean, this is ridiculous. So it's clearly, this is preferential treatment, I think, on Obama.
Well, but I mean, how does race enter it? Sean Collins was white. Obviously, Michael Vick is black, but is it a race thing, or is it just an insensitivity thing to the family of a fallen soldier?
Insensitivity, but not only that, this just shows deeper how Obama shows preferential treatment to blacks. It was no problem calling the head of the Eagles from Michael Vick, no problem. He had no business even getting into that.
He says he was calling him to congratulate him on his
I see it as a misunderstanding of the job description. Okay, I think that Obama loves to do the fun stuff. I think he likes to go on The View. I think he likes to go on Leno, but he should take a hint from his predecessor, Bush and Cheney, who used to meet privately with these families. I think he's got to start doing this. I mean, this is serious stuff. No one wants to talk to a family that just lost a soldier.
But it probably wasn't even, I mean, the odds are it probably wasn't Obama, right? It was probably some staffer who took the phone call and said, sorry, the president doesn't do this. And that's the staffer whose name we need. Because I bet if you farmed this up the line to President Obama directly, he would have said, I'll do it.
in the media, he should know about it.
Well, I'm sure, and we don't know whether he knew about it or not. I mean, we don't know whether.
But also, the Senator Cantwell should have called. I mean, these House legislative offices and Senate offices. Yeah, but you know, you get these letters from constituents, and you have the stock letter. I remember I worked on the Hill. You send it back to them. But I think when there's a fallen soldier involved, these members of Congress need to pick up the phone when they're home. Go meet with the family. Don't send a stock letter.
I completely agree with you, but all of them send stock letters. And if you are under the impression that any politician ever sends you anything, and it's anything other than protocol and something to look good in the media.
It's different than a pothole.
I agree with you entirely, but this is reality. We're talking about politicians. We're not talking about Boy Scouts and
Yeah, but I
Mother
work for
Teresa.
plenty of politicians that actually pick up the phone and can do something too.
You know what? But Obama has picked up the phone and sent condolences to many families as well. It's not like he's refused to talk to any fallen soldier's family. I mean, you can't say that.
We reached out to the White House for further comment on this to find out, and they didn't offer a lot of color. They just said, look, let us remind you of why he called the Philadelphia Eagles owner. It wasn't about Michael Vick. It was about to congratulate him on further green initiatives. And they said that President Obama always sends a letter to the fallen soldiers' family. All right, moving on. Okay, this is, in case you didn't know that crying in front of your man was a turnoff, it is. So if you are trying to woo your man on a saucy Saturday night and you thought it might add a little something to tear up, apparently you're wrong. Tears are a turnoff to men, Bernadette.
But you know what? That's a great little secret for married women, because if we're not in the mood, the headache thing doesn't work anymore. You just start weeping and they run away. I love it. And it doesn't surprise me, because I think men freeze and they don't know what to do, and they become
And the libido dies.
Yes. They're like the little boy in third
Men love
grade who
happy
doesn't know
women.
the answer.
They do.
Yes.
Men love happy women. But Megyn, don't you think when you see a man crying, doesn't get you in the mood either?
No.
John Boehner, I'm sorry, not hot.
No, but you know what's weird, Deneen, is that they say it's actually not the crying that's the turnoff. It's the smell of the tears. So maybe if you cry across the room, it's a different story.
Right. Who is smelling tears? I mean, come on. And I sure hope our tax dollars didn't pay for this dopey study. But really, if she's crying because he made her mad or upset, nothing happening anyway.
Well, the new study places human tears in a family of fluids that includes urine. I mean, that's how little men like crying. So the point is, I don't know, maybe if you cry in front of your man, you need to do a little makeup later with a little, I don't know, sassafras. They don't want to see it.
Got it.
All right, now speaking of sassafras, and this you could make the argument it's inappropriate. French Vogue decided that it would put together a fashion spread that looks a lot like the freaky beauty pageants that exploit young girls. Oh, sorry, cue the letters from the mothers of those little girls. You're going to see, these are little girls. This isn't it, right, Deb? This isn't, no. This is just the cover. Okay. Yes. These are children that they've decided, you can make the argument, to sexualize for fashion. And Andrea, you have no problem with it.
I don't see the big deal with it. One, we're used to it. We have these teen programs, these kid programs where they dress up as pageants. And this editor of French Vogue who did this shoot is known to do very controversial
This is fine. This is fine by you.
She
with the high heels and the...
Well, she mockingly indulges the fashion industry's taboos. The danger with these taboos, though, is once you indulge one, you're always looking to indulge more. Look, I think it's really weird and bizarre, but they're calling this an assault, and maybe I'm not as conservative in this area. I don't think it's that bad. I think she's trying to make a point.
I mean, assault, it seems a stretch, but the sexualization of preteens.
I'm all
They're
for
not showing
freedom
a lot
of
of skin.
speech, but this is very irresponsible, I think, for Vogue. To me, this is pornography for pedophiles. I mean, come on.
I agree.
And I think it's just very irresponsible for them.
Well, what about Andrea's point that it's just mocking, it's sort of mocking the fashion industry?
But these are kids being exploited, I think. They're under 10 years old.
You don't use a child to mock.
But they're covered up. I mean, they're not. I looked at
They are in suggestive positions. They have come hither positions. They have things in and around their mouths, and they are sprawled out in the layouts.
And I'm angrier that they're way sexier than I am when I'm trying to be sexy. That's completely.
Their
Now
makeup
I have
is really
drag
good.
queens and 10-year-olds to.
I want their clothes.
I'm just saying, like, you know, what mother is like, tart it up, sweetheart, come on, more lipstick.
Bad moms. That's what
But is it bad moms? Because is it so different than the mothers who put their daughters in the beauty pageants like we saw with John Bonet?
But I thought Abercrombie crossed the line where they were using teens and their ads that were very suggestive. They're going even lower with kids at this age, and I think it's just wrong. You're setting this kid up to think when they get older, this is how I can act.
But this is, to this editor's point, this is the fashion industry. These models are so young, and she's trying to even take it a step further to mock that and
Like,
say,
what's next?
Like, what's next? Her last shoot, she totally, very graphically exploited plastic surgery, almost in a mocking way. She did it with an oversized
that's one thing when
model.
That's fine when you use somebody who's of age, who's an
Yes.
adult. But the problem here is you're talking about little girls who, they're not consenting. They can't. Legally, they can't. Their moms and dads make the decision for them, and now that's out there. there. That's
I wonder
out there
if she
forevermore.
used her
And
kid
the
for this.
pedophiles, you're right. The pedophiles are going to like
They don't care if it's mocking. They're still enjoying them. So, and a lot of people are dumb, and they don't get that it's mocking. That's
Welcome
my
to
feeling.
France.
Yeah,
French
right.
Vogue.
And we'll leave it at that. Your dream. Andrea wanted to work for French Vogue.
And we
Was
just
that
realized
you
that
in
never
that
happened.
I hope you weren't auditioning with that segment. All right, ladies, thank
No.
you all so much. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Hey,